Just straighten that camera around a bit. Yeah, we're on. Welcome to the live. We'll talk about this topic about romanticising the past. Or sometimes it's not romanticising the past, it can be regretting the past. But essentially, you know, when you just go about your daily life, our brains have this sort of habit of looping over what was and stuff like this. And if ever you've had, let's say, some memories in the past that you keep thinking about, your brain finds it difficult to, every moment when you're doing nothing, whether that's driving the car or, you know, you're going about your business, it just keeps cropping up. You can't stop this. It's like all this talk about staying in the moment. You know, I do all this meditating to be more present, which we're all taught to be. Very powerful, being more present. But it's a constant battle, and a lot of being more present and meditating, I think, is accepting the fact that your brain will wander. And the skill is not to sort of block it out. You're not there like a robot just to say, nope, not fucking thinking, having a blank brain. No, the skill is to allow these thoughts to sort of come and go and pass. So these thoughts come and go, and it's always, you think about what you think about. Well, it's like dreams, isn't it? You're always recollecting memories. And memories are very powerful, and also memories are important because, you know, I did a poll and a video on what are the most, you know, what's most important to you. Is it your health, your wealth, your memories, or your possessions? And I do think that out of all them, health, wealth, memories, possessions, I think your most important, well, it's tied between two, I would say, health and memories. Health just tips memories, just because you have to be healthy to do anything. But if you think about it, as you go through life, the only thing you've really got is a bunch of memories. You got a bunch of memories. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to live. So you got these bunch of memories, and hopefully you got your health, and then nothing else matters, right? So it's like, you know, your wealth and your possessions, you can't take them with you. But I think even whenever you speak to someone that's sort of old and at the end of their life, they're always full of stories and memories. So your memories are very important, but one of the problems with memories is, like I say, you just keep thinking about them. You keep going back and back and back. Andy, is that Star Wars behind? Yeah, they're pretty cool. So I've got Millennium Falcon here. I'll just spin it round a bit. Yeah, I'll help you out. Hang on. These are hand drawings, right? That's the Millennium Falcon. Look how detailed it is. That one is Boba Fett's slave ship. I don't know if, is that coming through? Yeah, Boba Fett's slave ship. And then this one, I tap. So it's pretty cool, right? A guy called, an artist, you can Google him, he's called The Urban Giant. And he's respect it, upper class. I'm a working class guy. But thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a working class guy. I just work my bollocks off to, you know. I don't deny my roots, but I'm out of that now. But thank you very much. Yeah, this guy, Urban Giant, is called Mark Turley. I know him, and I always buy art off him. So yeah, he's very good. He's in the Midlands in the UK. But you can just buy prints off him and he'll post them around the world, you know, wherever you are. So it is brilliant stuff. Another good one he's done is, Lego Ghostbusters. They have that just out in the hallway. It's really nice. Anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, on memories, right? One of the problem with memories, as good as they are, is our association to them. We tend to loop over them, right? And in a bad way. Um, what are you talking about, Paul? Come on. Right, in a bad way, right? We loop over them, whether that's with romanticising about the past and what was, or maybe regret. Like, you know, whenever this is kind of how karma works. Whenever you've been naughty and you treated someone like shit, you always regret it later. Or maybe, you know, in our personal lives, if you might romanticize about someone from the past and think you'll never get another and stuff like this, or you might romanticize about a work situation when you had a better job with more pay, things like this, or a better business opportunity, and it seems to have gone and you're now falling on hard times. And no matter what it is, the problem with thinking about the past like that, memories are mega, as I say. You need to, but you need to use memories correctly. You need to use them as a memory. Like, that is a fond memory I have that you can take to the grave and be grateful of having that opportunity. And that's kind of best way, because when these thoughts, like I say, you can't get rid of these thoughts. They always keep coming back no matter what you do, even if you like meditating, staying in the moment. When these thoughts are there, your best way to deal with them is just to let them pass. And no matter where you are in life, I always think the best course of action from this point is to kind of work from where you are. So look at where you currently are. Yes, you might have had better times. Yes, the economy might have been better. Yes, you might have had a better relationship, whatever that might be, and it might have gone to rat shit now. But you can only work from where you are, and it's always better to like think, okay, accept the past as a memory, be grateful of it, and just what can you do from this position? And that's a great kind of segue into what I talk about. I'm just going to read a couple of these messages. Am I addicted to fentanyl? No, I'm not. Why would I be? I don't do any drugs. Barely drink. I'm quite clean, actually. An experience of fentanyl last summer when I went to Canada, went to Vancouver, right? Beautiful place. But there's this part of it called Tent City where there's a lot of, well, tents, homeless people and drugs. And then I drove into the US further down and I went to Seattle, right? And I've been told how, you know, Seattle, big for music, you know, the whole grunge scene, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Unit, Soundgarden, you name it, all there. So I really like Seattle. It was a nice place, but when you walk between like site to site, you cut through the city, there ain't half a lot of drugs. Like, I was walking down the street, and I'm getting off topic now, but I'll make it relevant. I was walking down the street, and I just walked past this kind of like park area, and there must have been 20 or 30 people just on the sidewalk, say, in American terms, just there on the edge, you know, on the grass, all absolutely out of the face on like probably fentanyl, right? And I, it was like, it was really weird because like they were just kind of like keeled over. Like, some of them were up, you know, doing the whatever they're doing, making the drug, just broad daylight on the fucking street. And then the ones that had the hit were just sort of on the side. And you had like, it was really funny because you had like, there they were on the side, and they are like women with their asses out, right? It was really weird. So I shouldn't laugh because they were in a really bad spot, but it was just what a sight. There were like 30 of them in a big long line, like just one line of them on the edge of the sidewalk, the path, all like asses out, keeled over it. What a sight! It were really weird, and yeah, they had a big drug problem. So yeah, the drugs don't work, which is another, you know, music title. I used a music title on my thumbnail today. Don't look back in anger, Oasis, you know. Because yeah, back on the memories thing, don't look back in anger, right? Use your memories wisely. The best way is always to move forward from where you are today. Accept the memories as, you know, a nice experience that you will take to the grave. So I've done this. Like I think back to some of the things that I've done over the last few years that I might never do again. Well, I will do again at some point in the future if I choose to. But one of the things that I used to do when let's say I was going on like a nice experience, it was a particular, I had to go somewhere, meet someone and have a nice experience. I would always look on that as, okay, I'm going to go on this trip or whatever, right? I'm going to go and do this thing with this person. And I'm going to treat it like just an individual event. And, you know, I might never do that again. I might never be healthy enough to do that again. You know, I could get injured tomorrow or something like this. So this is a great way to sort of approach life and memories. It's like, you know, just accept it as a memory for that moment, because that's all you got, and it is just a memory. And just say, you know what, I might never do that again, and that's okay. I'm grateful to have done it. Have you been to Geordie Shore? And then someone underneath, next one. Geordie Shore, do you mean Newcastle? Oh, yeah, of course I've been Newcastle. I used to work near there I was there for 2 years. Not Newcastle, a bit further down, Seaton Carew and Hartlepool. So I worked in Hartlepool. Hartlepool's just above Middlesbrough. It's not quite as far. Newcastle's probably another 30, 45 minutes up. But I also did some work up that way and Durham and places like this. So yeah, I practically lived there for 2 years when I was younger in a different job. So yeah, I have. Where am I from? North Manchester. So yeah, back on the topic. In terms of, so when we know that the best course of action is always to, you know, when you're thinking about, it's easy to romanticize the past, whether it's romanticizing a person that's sort of left our life. This is a classic one, right? Or you might romanticize a past life thinking, fucking hell, things were easier then, whatever. Looking back with rose tinted glasses, all that, because, you know, we tend to, the negative thoughts fade quicker than we remember the highlights, basically. And the problem with romanticizing the past is it's so unhelpful. So you have to convert it into a memory with gratitude. You've got to look at it and go, you know what, I enjoyed that. That was a memory. Gratitude, because you never know what's going to happen in the future, and it's so unhelpful. The only thing that's helpful is looking at where you are today and just saying, you know what, how can I improve it? And how would you do that? Well, it's like I always say in my videos, in terms of, you know, creating that identity, creating that goal and working towards it every day, like I do with the journal, you know. And if you're used to my content, you'll know that I always promote that kind of 3-step system, like create an identity for yourself, Think about where you are today and just create that new identity. That's who you're going to be, right? That's who you are. And then create a set of goals, things that you need to do. And then every day work towards it by choosing 3 things that you're going to work on. They're going to move you towards your goal. And that is very much working in the moment. It's focusing on where you are now, right? And then improving from where you are. Those looping thoughts are very bad, you know, they don't help you at all. What am I doing here? I don't know, to be honest. Fucking scream. I don't know. If you want to scream, you can scream. We won't be able to hear you, though, because you're just commenting. So, yeah. I'm going to show you a diagram, which is an important one. It's called, in my journal, it's also on the website, it's called the Identity Evolution Cycle. You see, it will be mirrored because it's a live stream on my phone, so YouTube just mirrors it. But at the top there, you've got your identity. This is who you are, right? Who you say you are, right? And then at the bottom, this is like creating change, creating goals. So you've got your identity, you've got creating goals, things you want to achieve. And at the bottom, you've got your daily habits, right? And the important thing to remember here is who you are is the sum of your daily habits. So the sum of your daily habits confirms your identity, right? Now, to move forward, this is just identity shifting now, right? To move forward, what you have to do, you can feed in a new identity at the top, right? And then create some goals around it and then start working towards it. How do you start working towards it? You practice habits that are in alignment with the thing that you want, with that identity. So, you know, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis confirm who you are. So it's all right wishing a better future. You know, if you're there romanticising about the past and thinking, fucking hell, it was better then when I had that person and I had all that money and I had this, that and the other. It's not helpful, right? The best thing that you can do, and the best thing that you can do is start practicing better habits in alignment with the life that you want. And it sounds so fucking easy, but, you know, our brains keep going back to the past, and it's almost like a form of overthinking, looping, and anxiety, wishing that things were different. Instead of just like, you know, because working towards something every day, that bit there, you know, that kind of the real work. Let me get back to this diagram. I just switched off it. Right. These bits are relatively easy. This here, the daily habits that you keep doing. Right. It's actually quite hard, and everyone wants a quick fix, right? Everyone wants it to be easy. But, you know, no big change is acquired easily. Yes, you might win the lottery tomorrow and it changed your life. You know, if you won the lottery and you got a lot of money all of a sudden, that's going to help, right? Because money, tell you what, getting a bit of money doesn't half brush over a lot of problems. And do you know what else brushes over a lot of problems? Hitting a big goal. Like if you land a big business deal or something like that, all your problems go away. You know, even if you're fucking heartbroken, you think, and you're not, you know, things are not going well, whatever, you know, fallen out with a lot of people. Whatever your problems are, one of the best things you can do is hit some of your goals. All your problems go away once you start smashing it, right? If you always think back when things were good, did you have any problems? Probably not. So it takes some extreme discipline to do this stuff. Just going on the let's go on the, you know, if you won the lottery today. I don't play the lottery. I'm not a massive fan of it. I once won the lottery. Well, I never won it. I nearly won it. I don't play the lottery, but I was in a syndicate at a place that I work. So this is just where someone comes round the office, just mithering people. Do you want to come in the syndicate? And you just put £2 in. And, you know, at the time I was like, I weren't going to play the lottery, but I just kept chucking £2 in. And one time it was a Euro Millions. I think it was like, let's say 83 million euros or something. And we put our £2 in, and back then it was the Euro Millions was, I think it was 5 and 2. Was it 5 balls and 2 bonus balls or something like this? And we got 6 numbers, and the 7th number, which was one of the bonus balls, I think, we needed number 43, and I think we got number 41. So it was like really close, right? So we won, I think, but there was like 30 of us or whatever, and we ended up winning like 7.5 grand each or something, right? And that was that, right? So we won a bit of money. The only ever time I played the lottery, I've never played it since, because I think for me, I just look at the odds, the chances of winning it, forget it. Yeah, you might get lucky, but the other one is, I've always wanted to earn it. I've always wanted to. I'd rather earn the money than be given it, because one of the problems with being given the money, it's an identity problem, right? If you're given that money, you'll lose. You ever see these people that get given the lottery like that? Remember that Michael Carroll dude who won all that money, and he bought that fancy house and built like a flipping equivalent of Destruction Derby in the back garden with all them cars racing round and stuff. I think he'd spent up within 18 months. And this is the problem, right? There's an identity problem, because you're not the type of person that, whenever someone gets money that is undeserved, they're not the type of person to have that money. So it's almost like it falls out of the pocket really quick. It's almost like, you know, when you see these people that just never have money, and they get a bit of money and they just blow it really quick because they're not used to having it. I think there's a competence side to it. There's what do you do with this money? And there's a second part of it, which is like almost like an identity or a belief thing, that's like, you haven't become the person that has that money. And this reminds me, when I was in my software business, when I was getting coaching from Scott years ago, and I was telling him at the time, this is all this stuff that I've developed in this journal all comes from my time and coaching with Scott. And I was telling him at the time, I was saying, Scott, I want to be able to get these really big contracts. I want to be, you know, all my contracts are like 10 grand, 20, up to 50 grand max. 50 was a big contract. I want to get £100,000 contract, 200. I want to get a million contract, right? Really big software contracts. And he said to me at the time, he said, it's an identity problem, Andy. He said, he said, do you believe you have the skills to get those bigger contracts? I was like, yeah, no doubt in my skill whatsoever. Right, okay, you've got the skills. Do you believe that you've got the capability to deliver it? Yeah, no problem. Right then, okay. Well, then you can be that person. He said, you can be that business leader that gets those jobs. All you got to do is create the identity for yourself, believe in it, and then go and live in it. Go and live according to it every day. What would that person do? The person that wins the 100,000 plus contracts, what would they do? Well, they'd look after themselves, wouldn't they? They'd look after their body, they'd look after their health. They'd get up every day early, right? They'd have a good routine, they'd stand by a good routine, and they'd consistently do this every day, right? So I just looked at this and thought, right, okay, what is my morning routine that is going to lead to me getting the £100,000 contracts, right? And I just designed it. I just went, right, I'm going to get up early every day, right? Because I always used to tell myself I was a night person. Now, some people do work well at night, but I switched it. No, I'm going to get up early every day. I was already doing okay in business, but I wasn't quite getting the results that I wanted. And it's like, I've got to get up early every day. I'm going to start eating really healthily, right? Better, whole foods, clear brain. And I'm going to work out and all this stuff, make myself healthy. And then the other best habits that we don't think about that I do, every day I'm going to read and write. I'm going to read in the morning. I've got a morning routine. I'm going to read. So I've got this book now, just started this one. Bit of a different one, Introduction to NLP. I'm going to read books, and then as I go through them, all the knowledge is contained in books. I'm going to take the lessons out of these books. I'm going to write them in my journal every day. Right, so my journal's like the record of truth. And then also in my journal, I'm going to choose 3 things that I'm going to work on today. So I've done my identity. I'm the person that gets this £100,000 contracts. Right, I've created some goals, things that I need to do. So I've got to get some leads, book some meetings, close some all this stuff, right? Things that I have to do to get to the sale. And then every day I choose 3 things to work on. Scott used to say to me, what are the top 3 things that you can do today that are going to move towards your goal? And I just focused on that. And I've been doing it for years, right? And I'll tell you what, Scott coached me for like 3 years. Within that conversation, within 12 months of that, maybe 2 years of that conversation. No, I think it was 12 months. Within 12 months of that conversation, I landed that fucking job. That big job. And I thought, wow, and I started to do it like in here. I started to do it for everything, right? So in here, I've got this. I used to use Tony Robbins' RPM system. When I was working with Scott, I was using Tony Robbins' RPM system, right? Prioritize 3 things a day, right? So I used to use Tony Robbins' RPM, which was similar, but it was too complicated. And in there, he uses the Wheel of Life, quite popular. So I come up with mine, called the Life Harmony Model. And there are 7, on here, there are 7 categories of personal development within your personal and professional life. So we've got physical, like your physical health, which is about developing a clean diet, health strategies and effective training plans. Your mindset, super important, which is like mastering mental models, motivation, focus and state management. Your spirituality, this is like, a lot of people are religious, or some people are like exploring meditation, mindfulness, right, and developing a spiritual identity. You've got your relationships, which is creating abundance of meaningful connections with friends, with family, friends, and romantic partners. Then you've got financial, right, your financial health. Learn how to leverage your skills and time to increase earnings and wealth. Then you've got occupational. This is like your mission. Achieve more in less time by boosting productivity and efficiency in your work, mission, or study. And then you got lifestyle, right? Live life on your terms. Very important, personal sovereignty. Travel the world and design the life you want. So in all them 7 areas, I'd done that in my business. And then I started to explore all the other 7 areas and thought, right, okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? How can I? And yeah, within 2-3 years, started hitting little goals here and there, all just setting little goals in various areas in my life. And it was amazing how effective it was. Literally, create an identity, set some goals, and then the work is literally choosing 3 things a day. And all you're doing is tick, tick, tick. just doing 3 things a day towards your goals, consistently for years, and you don't look back. It's funny because you don't get instant results, but if you start, it's a bit like going in the gym, right? If you've never been in the gym before, it's horrible and hard, right? And it takes years. If you think year one, let's say you're going in and you're out of shape, you've never been before. Year one, the best you can achieve is maybe losing a bit of body fat and starting to get stronger. Year two, you're going to develop muscle mass, start looking better. Year three, you can go on a decent cut, start looking really good. Year four, you'll be totally different. You're not going to get good results in 3 months, no matter what anyone, you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in 3 months. And it's the same with any other goals, like business goals, relationship goals, all that. It takes time. So committing to that, 3 things a day. We overestimate what we can achieve in a week and underestimate what we can achieve in a year. And that's why I like journaling, because it's like a record. When you read it back 6 months, 12 months later, and you see all those things you've done, tick, 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 the growth, it's very empowering. So I would urge you to do that. Think about your identity. What is it who you are, or who you say you're going to be, or what is it, that identity that you want? What's the life vision that you want? Create some goals and then choose 3 things a day and work towards it. And that's it. Eventually, you'll get some results. I will just get rid of these notifications that keep coming up. I've got millions of notifications. Right. Hope that was useful. Thank you very much. Agree. Completely agree with you. James and Martin Luther twerk off. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I've missed a lot of comments, but listen, yeah, that's the message. Move forward from today. Create an identity. Set some goals. Start working towards them every day with good habits. What are those good habits? Quite simply, even if you don't know what you want, I'll give you some good habits now that we all know. Eat well, eat clean, whole foods. Go and have a look at there's a link down below to my diet plans and recipe page. Lots of examples. I've done lots of videos on recipes. Got a playlist. Eat well, work out, right? Exercise, sleep, good sleep, right? Meditate or be mindful. And then read and write every day. Reading and writing every day has brought me so much. Sitting in my garden, reading books, writing in my journal, all my plans, what I'm setting my intentions for the day, choosing them 3 things, and then going doing them. And every day, how do you do those 3 things? Well, you're working focus blocks of time of about half an hour to an hour each, with a little break in between. So I'll sit in my garden, get some nice daylight. Just started pissing it down. I was going to do this outside. Started raining, so I had to come in. But I'll sit out there, do my journal, choose my 3 things, read, and then I will start work. And I'll start on my first one, up to an hour, get that first one of my 3 things done, then have a 15-20 minute break to lower your state again, bit of state management, and then go on your second, and then have another little 15-20 minute break, and then go on your third. And then you know what? That's pretty much a morning. You've done everything, and then you've achieved more in the day than you ever have. All right. Thank you very much. I think you'll talk. I don't know what these comments are. Right. Thanks, everyone. Go and have a look at my links down below, diet plans and recipes, particular. And yeah, what do you do for a job? Well, I do this. No, no. In IT software, and also create journals. That's my new business. So I've got 2 businesses. That's what I do for a job. Right. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you all next time.